Okay, it's Thanksgiving week, and this is a quick update on what's going on here in the corner tank. And of course, one of my proudest is the growth on this Madagascar lace plant. Look at that growth. Isn't that gorgeous? I think we've counted 20 leaves on it at this point, and those big ones in the front are able to reach the top of this tank now, and it is a very beautiful plant. My experience has been with Madagascar lace plants, it won't last forever. But anyway, we also have a new experiment going on. Up here we have a little breeding tank, and I've taken some small plant cuttings that have not been able to stay in the gravel, and I've put some substrate, which I don't use in the tanks, into that plastic case, which is actually floating in the water. And that red plant is the one you saw earlier planted down below here that Bruce gave me, and it's doing very well. It's got some roots on it, and so now I've got it someplace where it's going to stay for a while. Every time I turned around, some fish had uprooted it from the very larger gravel in this particular tank, as you can see here just below where it used to be planted. And it wouldn't stay in that. And so I finally decided, hey, let's try something different. I've never used substrate before, but I'm willing to see what it does. And so right here you have that forest of corkscrew vallisneria, which is doing very well and sending out runners. And I float this breeding cage, and it stays under the light, so it's getting plenty of bread light. And I also, when I put the CO2 in each day, I make sure I put some drops in that. Now the other thing that's very encouraging here, and I'm using a new tripod, so I'm trying to figure out how to, there we go. And so along with the very colorful, I'm trying to think, it's not ricotta, that's a cheese, Ricca plant, which is now in all three tanks and growing well. And then we get over to that red kabamba. Remember the one that shuts up at night? Look how bright the ends pieces of that are. And in about 2 or 3 hours, that's going to end up closing in on itself and just be a brown end of that stem. But the forest of kabamba is really reacting well to this fertilization program that I've described several times. Again, CO2 every day, leaf zone once a week, and plant tabs on a quarterly basis. And so as a result, this tank is really becoming a forest, and I love it. It's like a jungle of green and red and all different shapes and sizes. And even the Amazon sword, which is behind the Madagascar lace plant, I have another one that was lost over in the corner here, and the neon tetra seemed to hang around it. But that plant right there was in the dark and really not doing anything, and now it's got at least 15 leaves on it. It's still being buried by that spreading of the kabamba that I moved over to this side, which were cuttings from the one on the right side. So this is rather exciting at this point to see how that's going to work out, and I'm hoping to get enough roots to be able to put it down in the gravel here, and maybe we'll catch a view of the new betta. A local store had a half-price sale on their fish, and while the half price brought this down to what it should have been in the first place, let me see if I can show you this beautiful, he's been coming back and forth here all the while they didn't have the camera here, and so I don't know if we're going to get a shot of him or not. Now you're going to see him. And he's flaring up his fins very, very nicely. So that was $3. Most of them going for $2.50, $3. This is just a common Betta. And I have another one in the boat tank that I can't wait to show you if I can get them to come out so you can see them. This one is gorgeous. It's got a beautiful, as you see, red and blue finish and sort of a pale blue body to it. Look at the coloration. Isn't that gorgeous? Especially against the light green of that Kabamba forest that's off in this particular corner, mixed in with the red Kabamba. And you can see those Madagascar lace leaves, how they actually let water come through the leaves because that lace effect, hence the name Madagascar lace plant. But they are doing beautifully, so this fertilization program is just what they needed, and the lighting seems to be working out well too. There's the 3 pearl gouramis that do so well in this particular tank. And so that's the corner tank, the pie-shaped 50-gallon, 55-gallon, something like that. And the other ones are doing very well. I don't see them right this minute. They're hiding, is those black barbs with the beautiful finish. And I can see one coming over here. Let's see if I can show you. Nope, he's going to stay back there. Usually they're chasing each other around, and they put on quite a display. You can see them in the background there. And look at the tetras chasing them. Isn't that something? I love the coloration of the fish against the color of the plants. It's really amazing to me to see the contrast and how that causes the color to stand out, as you can see here, with the swordtails and the platies and the red-tailed shark and everybody else that's doing so well in this whole thing. And again, I'll give you updates another time about how we're making out with this new idea. That has been together for about a week now. And so I'll close out this tank with one more close-up of a plant that Bruce gave me a cutting from, which was one of those, I forget what they call them, but it's like a shot glass or a cup of tiny plants, and he said he got about 6 or 8 of them in that, and they put them in his tank and they started growing, and he gave me one of them. And so I'm trying to really grow it out here, and it's growing nicely from, it looked like, you know, just a couple little leaves. Well, it turned out to be 6 plants sharing those little leaves. And I see now we're getting some activity with the black barbs. We'll see if they're going to continue to show off for us. They tend to chase each other around in what seems to be a friendly way. They're not ripping each other's fins. No, well, they're back there. There's more than one, so we're going to have somebody chase somebody out here in just a second, I'm guessing. Hidden back here in the Kabamba, which is propagated from the other side. Oh, never mind. That's just one looking at himself in the reflection of the glass. So it's not 2 of them chasing each other. He's doing some strange movements there. I hope that's not a negative situation. And here's the other one. Love their finish. They've done very well here. Okay, let's move from the Madagascar lace plant across the room. And again, keeping in mind my sister's very valid complaint that these tend to be too long videos, I'll keep this nice and short, at least I hope so. And again, look at the coloration of this particular garden of plants, all of which are thriving in amazing ways with that fertilization program. The cuttings back in the center here, that's that rotella, that's the word I'm looking for, rotella, is that reddish plant right dead center. And so we can zoom in on that, and that's just 2 sprigs from the one plant you saw in the other tank here. And so it's doing amazingly well. The Kabamba off to the right here is cuttings from that other tank. I've never had that happen to me before, where I have enough growth to be able to share across tanks like this. And then over on the other side, we have beautiful red Ludwigia that you see right there in front of another couple shoots of that Kabamba. And this tank is doing very well. We've got 10 angelfish in here at this point. And the other plant that we were following was another gift from Bruce. And right down front and center is a small Amazon something or other that he brought back from that fish show up in northern Jersey. And so that's hanging in there. And then it's sort of buried back here, so it's not getting as much light as maybe it would like. But you can see those other plants hanging in there and growing nicely. And this tank has got some beautiful low, they're not growing to the top of the tank like the one in the corner tank is. So there's a different variety of Amazon swords that you're looking at right here. And then just recently, I picked up what they call spiked Amazon. And so that's what, right behind that tricolored shark and that catfish, is two plants. They were $1.50 each, and they had a lot of leaves on them. I'm curious to see what's going on with the leaves since I put them in here about a week ago. And tomorrow Bruce is coming down from his North Jersey area to visit, and we're going over to some local fish stores over in Pennsylvania, over in the Bristol area of Pennsylvania, the Hidden Reef, which we love to go to, and that's where I got these two plants. And also the Fish Factory, which is a nondescript little fish place that is on the way. It's about 2 miles away from the Fish Factory. I'm sorry, from the Hidden Reef. And I always stop there because the opportunities just sort of pop up in terms of, let's say, a fish that all of a sudden looks good, and they have some good prices. So for example, 3 of the angelfish in here I picked up last time, and they were sort of a calico orange color, as you see in this one right here. And while I couldn't find any angelfish at the Hidden Reef that were worth buying, at the Fish Factory I found a very good price for 3 of these. I think there were 3 for $11.99 or $7.99 a piece, something like that. And so we have several that look similar to that are doing very well. But again, my focus has been on the plants, and I just love the look of the garden that these plants are providing in this particular show tank. And what I did get at the Hidden Reef last time, which you can see off here to the right, is 5 or 6 Serpae. And that was the only thing I picked up. They were not as complete in their stock of fish as I would normally expect them to be. And the camera's a little out of focus here, I'm not sure why. There we go. Seem to go transition there, but those Serpae are doing well. And I've had about 10 of them at one point in time. They drifted down and they just disappear. And I had like 2 or 3, and I just added that 6. And you have that flying fox in the center that came over from the corner tank here. And it is always working on the leaves of these plants, taking off any algae. So really doing a nice job there. But what I'm surprised at, over in the right hand corner, there's a nice plant right there that I thought was going to grow up to the top. It's that frilly leafed, long leaf plant right, let's see if I can zoom in on it for you. Yeah, there it is. And those leaves are sort of hanging low now instead of going up. And right next to it is that freckle, I don't know what to call it. It's Amazon sword of some type, speckled. And the speckle is the actual coloring on the leaves, as you can see in that leaf right in the front, as opposed to anything wrong with those leaves. And then immediately to its left, buried there, is that red Amazon that I've been so pleased with. And so you can sort of get an idea of what that's all about right here. And so I'm at a point now where I've got so much plant life that it's a challenge to find a place where you can plant anything. And I'm not much of a trimmer, okay? I know what I did. The other day, because of that plastic container that I was trying to plant those cuttings into, and my fingers were too big. And so I happened to go out on eBay or Amazon, not sure which at this point, and I ordered a kit of plant utensils for the fish tank. And it just came 2 days ago, and already it's made a world of difference in being able to plant shoots in that little substrate thing. Now the other thing that I wish I could show you here, and I can't get it out here. I've got another male betta I picked up the other day that is pure white. I'm calling him the ghost fish. And I was afraid he disappeared within the first day I put him in here, but my wife verified that she saw him earlier in the day, and sure enough he came out and we were able to see he's doing just fine. And I wanted so much to show you, but I don't know how to get him out to where we can see him. He hides back in the corner, and if I can get him on the side, I'll use the camera over there. So meanwhile, that's the update here, and nothing new in the office tank, so I won't bother you with that, but just to give you a sense of how this particular garden is doing. And so appreciate your comments and your thoughts out here, so thank you for the following. You see that big upside down catfish that is totally grown out from when we first got him. He's the biggest thing in this tank at this point. And right above him are those angels I was telling you about. They're speckled black and orange, and there's actually 3 of them here. All 3 are right within the view up here. Let me see if I can bring you in. And of course they all go face forward to the camera, so you really can't see them too well. But the Fish Factory presented an opportunity with the 3 of them here. 1, 2, and then this third one's right there. Oh, there they are. They look into the picture here. I'm trying to see if I can get that male betta for you, but it was hiding over here in the corner, and I don't see it now. So we'll just have to entertain you with that big upside down catfish that is hanging straight face down in this corner. He is huge, and he's beautifully ugly, if you want to make any sense out of those words. The other thing I wanted to show with this tank, as I told you, I turned the light off, the LED lights. Oh, there's the betta now. Hold on one second, we're going to go around to the side and see if we can capture him for you. That's the white betta I was telling you about. Oh sure, go turn sideways so we can't see you, right? Now hopefully he's going to turn, you can see his finnage. Oh. Anyway, at least you know I'm not lying, he's in there someplace. Oh, I wanted you to see what this tank looks like when I turn the LED lights off and just leave the fluorescent on it like I used to have. And I think it looks really nice, so let me do that for you so you can see what it looks like. Now, I'm not sure how much the camera's adjusting the brightness, but that looks very different here in the living room. I'm not sure if the camera's capturing it the way I'm seeing it. And then these LEDs usually have another setting. Now let's see what that looks like when we go to the blue. There's the blue LED lights up there, which is supposed to be an evening type thing. You can certainly see them bouncing off the fish there in blue all of a sudden. I don't particularly care for it, and I never set it that way, but I just was curious to see what it would look like here. So that's the effect of the different lighting. The blue, the LED's off, just the fluorescent behind it, and now the LED's back on. So again, that's the update. Thank you for being with me. I hope you're doing as well with your fish and having as much success as I am enjoying here.